Fast Five, where our three panelists talk about 5 topics in 7 short minutes. First up, Police Chief Brito has announced his resignation. Ron, what say you?
I'll just have to say what everybody else has said, a shock. He was in meetings throughout the day, just as nice a guy in the meetings as you want. The next thing you hear later that night, he handed in his letter after the meetings. Really hate to see the gentleman go. But to go from a $102,000 job to a $166,000 job from Hagerstown to Rockville, I'm not sure if he's making the right decision or not. That fast pace of life down there and the cost of living, I wish he'd have stayed here.
Well, obviously good for him on the pay raise, and his resignation isn't effective until June 15th, so next steps, obviously, Hagerstown's going to have to look at where its new police chief is going to be, if they're going to look somewhere else or try to promote from within.
The interesting thing for me on this is the social media aspect, and we brought that up earlier. You know, you see on social media, well, that's because Hagerstown is trash, or Hagerstown is this, or Hagerstown is that, or the drug capital of the world. Crap. I don't believe that at all. I believe this is a guy taking advantage of what he views as a very nice pay raise and a very nice offer. And I can't argue. That's a significant pay increase. And I hate to see him go too. I think he's done a great job. I think this city has benefited from his service. But I have no doubt that our elected officials will do a good job in searching out our next police chief, as they did in searching out this one.
I will predict the next police chief was an acting police chief at one time in Washington County.
Okay.
I mean, in Hagerstown.
All right, the royal wedding. What do we know, and do we really care?
Well, Meghan Markle, American actress, got married to Prince Harry of the British royal family. It happened this week. I personally don't keep up on that kind of stuff, although I think I can speak for golfers everywhere in saying that Meghan Markle chose the wrong Brit. A couple years ago, she was dating Rory McIlroy for some time. There's still the video out there of when they do the ALS challenge with the ice bucket, so that's how long ago that was. But I'm a big fan of Suits, the show she stars in, and I just wish them the best, and kind of sad that I didn't get to see one of my favorite golfers marry one of my favorite actresses.
Ron?
I watched every frame that was shot from the time of 12 o'clock at night until the next day, till it was over. I had to go away. I taped it and still watch it. I enjoyed every minute of it. I think she brings a lot to the royal family. I think there's going to be a lot of changes. I like it because she's a little more liberal. Not as conservative, where she's bringing some more ideas out into the royal family, which they need. They need to be close to all the people and not just to a certain segment of society.
All right, I don't care. I really don't
Jim.
care. I don't think the royal family, frankly, brings anything to the table for me. Except taking up column
Oh my
inches.
goodness.
To me,
Just my opinion.
To me, if it were anyone besides Meghan Markle, who I'm a fan of just because I really like the show Suits, I probably wouldn't have cared, but because it was Meghan Markle, I kind of paid attention.
You know, you could be on that show.
All right, so we have 3, count them 3, WTF, or What the FlipSide topics tonight. The first one, a sinkhole appeared in front of the White House. Now, it was raining a lot last week, so we can imagine the sinkhole filling up with water, muddy water, swamp-like water, Ron. The jokes abound. What are your thoughts?
I wouldn't take it as a joke because I know how sinkholes happen. There can be stormwater pipes that are broken, that are circling, that eat that out.
So you're worried of the infrastructure piece of it?
Yeah, I look at the infrastructure piece. The rest of it's known, so I don't even need to identify it.
All right, Tyler.
From what I've seen and been able to read, the area that the White House is built on isn't particularly susceptible to sinkholes. There was some speculation that it could have been because of some previous construction that happened, and there was just a weak spot. Obviously, that's something I'll have to take a look at, but I think overall, just God has a sense of humor.
Okay. All right, next WTF segment. NFL to players. If you kneel, your team could potentially get a 15-yard penalty, and there's been jokes abounding about this as well. If both teams kneel, are they offsetting penalties? If two players kneel, is it 30 yards? Ron?
I don't think it'll be a 15-yard penalty. I think it will go back. I think Roger Goodell and the owners have come up with a solution. You don't disgrace, the flag and kneel. And if they don't want to come out, you don't have to come out of the dressing room. You can stay in your dressing room. But then there may be a fine because all the players aren't on the field. And then after that all happens, I think each team should deal with the repercussions of somebody not coming out on their own.
Yeah, it was actually put out in a statement today that all the players will have to be on the field and standing. For the teams, their team personnel can choose to stay in the locker room, but if there's a member of a team that isn't standing for the anthem, then the team itself will get a fine, not the individual player. And honestly, all of this is just so stupid. I don't want to have an opinion on it. Because why on earth, of all times, you're trying to make some sort of point, choose the national anthem to protest. Wear an anthem. You can protest before the anthem, after the anthem. You could do it in a microphone at a press conference.
I
There's
am
so
confident
many other
that any
opportunities.
of those players could get somebody to put them on TV where
Exactly.
they could make their case.
Exactly.
And they don't have to make it in silence on the side of a field.
And on the other side of it, though.
That's a very cogent point.
On the other side of it, though, if it really is it that terrible that you can't watch the NFL because some players are kneeling? Like, in the words of John Gruden, come on, man, just watch football and have fun. I'm a Dolphins fan. There were Dolphins players kneeling all year. I still watched every single game.
I'm glad to hear. I agree totally with what you just said. I think it is right.
Just enjoy the football.
Enjoy the football game.
Let the players
and
do
you
what they
quit
want.
watching football, didn't you?
I did.
And it really gained a lot. How'd that work out for you?
It worked out just fine. I got 4 hours of my day back.
Okay.
I was productive. All right, a 30-year-old young man, well, he's not even a young man at that point. He's a 30-year-old man, sues his parents because they essentially evicted him. He loses in court. What the flip side? Why, I just don't understand this one at all. Parents don't have a right to say, you're 30 years old, time for you to leave.
What I don't understand is not having a desire to leave at 30 years old. If you have the ability to go out and work in some sort of self-respect and you're an adult at 22, 25 years old, and you're able to do that, I would think that anyone would want to be independent. How are you gonna date? You ask a girl on a date, we could get dinner at your place. Oh, I live with my parents. That's not a good look, man.
Yeah, come on over. Mom's making meatloaf. How's that working? Ron, we got about 10 seconds.
Could be a boomerang. He could have been out and boomerang back in. You never know. Probably a circumstance. We don't want to know what happened. But it's a good what the flip side.
All right, and that's all the time we have for the Fast Five. Coming up next, we'll talk landfill fees. Stay with us.